and welcome to Gliwice, Poland. We are here for very much anticipated start of the season, FIM SuperEnduro World Championship. I'm joined by Paul Bolton, the man who knows the sport inside out. Paul, it's very nice to see you. The season.
Well, honestly, I'm a massive fan. I'm a former racer in SuperEnduro. It's been a big part of my racing career over the years, and finally to get this privilege to be joining Dave Moore up in the commentary booth to actually, commentate on a sport that I love so much, it's awesome.
This season is exceptional for many reasons. A lot of new stuff coming into the sport, starting with the new promoter, the new class of young racers as well. But the red hot topic recently is the electric bike competing with the traditional ones. What's your take on that?
Well, we've got to make space for this technology that's coming into the sport, and as a massive petrol head, it's not my favourite kind of thing, but the guys at Stark have been doing an amazing job. They've bent over backwards to get this possible, and yeah, I only see it as a positive and another direction for the sport to prove its worth in the world,
That's really good to hear. It's a massive promotion for the sport. We've seen that for many years right now, how the Super Enduro is growing, and the best fact of that's proving it, it's 82 riders competing this time at this event. It's a record of the riders today. So it seems like the Super Enduro is growing and it gains more and more fans around the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like you say, it's the biggest entry they've ever had in SuperEnduro history. And yeah, there's obviously last chances and everything else that people are going to have to jump into to get through. So there's more action-packed than ever. And yeah, also the 125 class is sort of my favourite addition that the new promoters have put in there. This really puts some new blood into the sport, and as a 10-year sort of like commitment to the sport, they're actually going to put this blood in the sport and actually, start from the beginning and make this sport possible.
I'm just trying to imagine how these young guys are feeling, competing at the same arena with the big stars of the Super Enduro. It must be very big motivation for them as well.
Yeah, being on a 125 and being 14, this is like, they're riding and rubbing shoulders with the big names in the world. And as a kid, it would be what you'd be dreaming of. So certainly me as a petrol head, and yeah, I only want to see how good these guys can go and how it develops the sport as well. New techniques, who knows what's coming.
Okay, we've already seen some of the practice session, time practice as well, of all the groups. What are your expectations towards the night? Who we should pay attention to the most?
Well, obviously, we've got the big names, your Billy Bolt, Johnny Walker. Dominik Olszowy has been doing amazing. He's obviously coming out of America. Good season there. They're the big names, I think, the big picks for the podiums. There's other riders changing teams. There's a lot of changing, a lot of shake-up. But yeah, super excited to see these younger riders, seeing how they go on, seeing how they develop through the night, and seeing how the track develops. They've put on an amazing track out there. It's got a real fast, flowy sections, and then it's got some super pinch points to the track that are only going to develop and hopefully cause some chaos.
And we're going to have, obviously, a great atmosphere here in Gliwice. The whole stadium will be packed, and that also brings a lot of energy and motivation to all the riders. I'm sure you agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah. Poland always goes off, and it's a great place to kick off the season.
We're going to hear from you later today, as you will be commentating the event with Dave Moore, who's right now in the spot to see the track very well, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the track. Dave, how are you doing?
Thank you, guys. May I begin by saying how excited I am ahead of a brand new FIM SuperEnduro World Championship season. We are in for a fantastic campaign, a season that, as we've just heard, holds so much promise. We have a fully fit defending champion in Billy Bolt, who has recovered after 7 months off the bike following his crash in Germany almost a year ago. We also have Triumph making their SuperEnduro debut in the hands of the superb Johnny Walker. Will they improve as the campaign goes on, or will they smash it straight out of the box? There's also the Stark Future bikes. We've just heard Paul talking about them, ridden by 6-time SuperEnduro World Champion Tadej Buzuziak and Eddie Karlsson, the Swede, who pulled up some trees in last year's campaign. And also he's mentioning junior world champions Will Hoare, Dominik Olszowy, the Brightmore brothers, Mitch and Ash, plus Freddie Gomez is back too. And all the way from the US is Cooper Abbott, who returns to SuperEnduro and looking to improve on the foundations he laid in the past. There's so much to look forward to, and it all begins on this track that you can see laid out in front of us right now. And it looks quite a fast track. Now, the word is that I'm getting is it is quite slippery, surprisingly slippery. The riders were thinking that it would be quite firm, really, but the track itself is a little bit slippery. Generally flows, the trickiest part as we look at it is on the, well, just as we're coming out of the matrix now. So we're just watching some of the junior riders. It's over the rocks and onto the pipe. And he's just coming up to this little section I was just going to talk about. So as I was saying, it was the trickiest part is the far corner from just before the final corner, before the start, before the finish post. And it's quite tricky in there. It's quite tight, quite technical. However, the rest of the track, plenty of speed, plenty of overtaking opportunities. As someone bins it just away from the shot there in the rock garden. There's a nice, big, long rock section. And personally, I do like a long rock section. They really can chuck in a real curveball for many a race. There's a matrix as well. Everything you'd expect, really, from a Super Enduro track, and also this stadium in Gliwice is really designed. You could say it's almost purpose-built for Super Enduro. They have no rock concerts this weekend, no ice skating. It's not quite cold enough for that. It is all about Super Enduro here in Poland today. So this session just coming to an end now. Over the tyres across the finish. We go into another little jump. So all in all, it's going to be something around 30 to 40, about 40 seconds, I would say. I've not looked at any time so far to judge how quick it takes to go around this track. But it certainly promises to be, as Paul and Marcelo were saying, promises to be really, really exciting. It is a really good-looking track in terms of, as I said, openness. And plenty of action going on, which is what you've come to expect, really, in Super Enduro. But tonight, this stadium will be full, as it always is in Poland. Poland pretty much has become the spiritual home of Super Enduro in recent years. Part of that is down to the likes of Tadej Blazusiak, and it's so good to see him back in Super Enduro. How he will fare remains to be seen. Obviously, in the latter part of his career. And there's Dominik Olszowy, who is on the Ryu this year, just coming out of the back of a really strong Enduro cross campaign. Billy Bolt is first onto the track. Then it is Olszowy, followed by Johnny Walker, who on that Triumph, and in those layout outfit, and in that Red Bull helmet, looks, and now with the sporting moustache as well, looks a little bit like Billy Bolt. I don't know whether he's paying homage to the defending world champion. But I'm now pleased to say I'm joined alongside Paul Moulton. Paul, I've just been talking about the track, and we were talking with Billy Bolt. He was one of those who said it's quite slippery. And they're finding the track generally good, but the far corner, the last turn, that's the one I think is going to catch some riders out.
Absolutely, Dave. That's the area that's going to be the most passes, as well as the sand section, the other tight section on the track. But yeah, there's also just little mistakes to be made. This big pipe step up in the middle of the track, that's pretty sketchy. We've seen a couple of problems with that so far. But no, overall the track's really good.
And one thing I also said is, one thing I do love is a long rock section, a long rock garden, and we've got one here tonight.
Yeah, obviously it's that nice straight one. In the free practice earlier, they just had one line, and now they've tried to open up the right-hand side as the riders are riding down it. So yeah, it's only going to develop. I think things are going to get more dug out as the night progresses.
So time practice is underway. We're at 8.5 minutes remaining on this session. And it's funny, Super Enduro. It's in terms of, you might, in other forms of motorcycle racing, you might see the fastest times going in towards the end of the session, but sometimes that's not always the case with Super Enduro.
No, that's not it. They sometimes just go straight out the gate and just get it done and dusted. But you've just got to pick a really good gap, and obviously this leads us on to the Superpole lap. We saw Billy in the last free practice. He opened up the corner where he just passed through then. And I think he actually did a 38, it was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's just looking now and he's kind of getting lined up for another bash at it. It's across that start-finish area. The timing beam is under that start-finish line himself, so he's on a hot one now.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on him. But of course, a lot of traffic it can make its ways, but he's got nothing ahead of him at the moment.
No, it looks like he's timed it well. He just took the front there, Dave. That's what you said, that slippy corner.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely on a fast one. We're just keeping an eye on Billy at the moment. Again, superb to watch. He does things that no other rider does.
No, this is the bit. This is where he's got to unlock it. He's got to stay out wide and then jump across. Just gone easy in this time. He actually clipped it in practice and fell off the back of the bike.
I caught that on video as well.
Did you get it?
But yeah, so there's his time. Billy goes 40.9.
Yeah, he's still got to get a bit more out of it. He maybe just lost a bit where he took the front there in that top corner.
So I'll just give you an update. It's only just 7 minutes remaining on this time practice. Billy Bolt with a 39.5. So it was 39.5. So Johnny Walker, second fastest so far, 41.2. Eddie Carlson, 41.7. Olszowy, 42.4. Mitch Brightmore, 42.5. Cooper Abbott, 42.8. Ted Blazujak, 43.1. And Harry Edmondson qualifying, 44.1. He made it in on the last chance. Diogo Vieira, 44.5.
Looks like there's a bit of a line-up, Dave, of trying to get some clean air, so to speak. We've got Johnny's on a flyer now as well.
Yeah, Johnny Walker. I speculated just when you were making your way up here, Paul, will we see Johnny and the Triumph improve as the campaign goes on, or is he going to smash it out of the box straight away?
Yeah, well, I've just been talking to him this morning about the bike, and he's loving the bike. Everything's going well. The team are super supportive. They've got a factory engine coming, so he's still using a stock engine at the moment. But yeah, he loves the frame, loves the way the bike handles and controls. But he just reckons he could just do with that bit more power for the pop out the turns. Billy's on a flyer now.
Yeah, Johnny got held up by Tim Apollo there, unfortunately. So but Billy is about to cross the line now. Can he go inside 39.5? And the answer to that question is, we don't know.
We're going to have to wait for that one.
Wait. Yeah, looks like a slight delay on the timing beam.
Looks like Taddy Blazujak's also lining up for a hot one.
Yeah, Taddy 8th fastest so far.
7 going through into Superpole.
That's right, yeah. And championship points on offer as well. So what's the most important thing, do you think, Paul, on this? Is it about getting the bike right for tonight, or is it about achieving times, or is it both?
It's both. It is both, yeah, of course. But, yeah, you want to get comfy on the bike so you can smash the laps off comfortably and cleanly. But, Dave, you've been doing this a long time, and you know what can go wrong in SuperEnduro, right? And I think just looking at that start straight, Taddy's gone down there.
Taddy's down and just slowly picking himself up. In terms of, just before we carry on, these electric bikes, because we know electric bikes tend to be heavy.
Yep.
Is that the case with these?
Yeah, that is the case, and it's all controlled. Obviously, the bikes have got to be a certain weight for this as well to be competing against some of the tolerances they've been given. And I believe there's a certain power as well. So it's like Taddy explained it to me. It's equivalent to a 250F.
Yeah.
So same power as Johnny, let's say, but obviously heavier. Yeah, and another thing with the electric bikes, especially for SuperEnduro, is they haven't got a clutch. So when things are going wrong, they can't balance it out or control it a bit with the clutch. So they have to rely on the speed, he said.
Yeah, they did make an appearance at the first round in France last year, but not on the day. They weren't allowed to compete in the event. And I remember he had a humongous crash during time practice on the bike. It really took off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they've learned they've had a year to improve and to hone these machines. And Taddy spent a lot of time on the bike as well.
There was no shortage of power around that corner, Dave, with Taddy going on another lap here after that crash.
Yeah.
It lit up round there. And yeah, they won the Arena Cross in the UK. Stark won that.
Yes,
that was a fantastic result for him. So it's all there, isn't it? Just needs adapting in some ways and evolving.
So Billy Bolt, by the way, 38.6.
There you go, he's banged it again.
Yeah, which is 2.5 seconds faster than Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker still second quickest. Dominik Olszowy on the right, third fastest. Eddie Carlson, fourth quickest still. Mitch Brightmore is now joined by his brother Ash Brightmore in the top 6. Ash had to qualify in the last chance as well to make it into the last 14. And then as it stands, Cooper Abbott is on, if it was Super Bowl.
Somebody's just thrown it down on the floor there.
Will Hoare.
Will Hoare on the floor, and we've got another one down in the tight section over there.
Tiredness creeping in now as well. A couple of minutes to go. And there's bike fitness and there's bike fitness, isn't there? Because this is their first time back at SuperEnduro, and no matter how many times, how many laps you can do pre-season, nothing. Oh, it's Diogo Vieira. Yeah, just plants the front wheel into the log.
That's so tricky, that section, to get right, because obviously everything's coming up in the air and they've got to bounce that front wheel down to use the rebound to help them pick it up, because you can use the inertia of the bike moving around just to help you and assist you. You can save a hell of a lot of energy.
Johnny Walker might be on a quick one, but
just got held up, I think.
Yeah,
here,
maybe, yeah.
I think Olszowy's just finishing one, maybe.
Dominik Olszowy still third fastest, and he goes second quickest, 40.7. There must be maybe a little issue with Billy Bolt's transponder, perhaps, because his times aren't going straight through. Olszowy's, as soon as he crossed the line, it flashed up 40.7. We'll see. Maybe we're looking too much into that, but still Billy Bolt fastest, 38.6. Olszowy with a 40.7, just over 2 seconds slower than Billy Bolt. Johnny Walker, Carlson, the Brightmore brothers and Abbott, they are in super pole position right now. Blazusiak, Hoare, Martin, Edmondson, Freddie Gomez, Apollo and Vieira at the moment not quite making the cut. However, they have less than a minute in which to burst into that top 7. And the other thing to mention as well, Paul, is how good it is to see so many manufacturers on that board, but how strange it is not to see KTM.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a shame, really, because Manny Lettenbeckler was down to do this, but in the last couple of hard enduros he got injured pretty bad, and he's just obviously trying to get ready again for that season. And yeah, we'll probably see him at towards the end of the season, I would say. So fingers crossed we get Manny in there.
Tony Blazusiak just taking looking
another
for
tumble.
An exit, yeah.
Well, that's what happens if you're trying. You know, he obviously wants to get in there, and just going to get that replay here.
And this is he's just back up. Yeah, he's just back up. But Taddy at the moment is not making super pole, and really we want to hear that cheer tonight of him going around the track as he gets introduced onto the into the arena.
Yeah, that would be a really unusual to not see Taddy in a super pole,
exactly. Right? And you would also say, well, Eddie Carlson now goes third quickest. Eddie Carlson third fastest, ahead of Johnny Walker. Ash Brightmore ahead of Mitch. We'll talk about the Brightmores later on, Paul, but Cooper Abbott's still holding that 7th place. And the flag is out, the checkered flag is out, so it's all about, if anyone is able to find a little bit of track in which they can maybe improve their time, but no one really showing any
vigor. On a hot one, are they? I don't think. And even if they are, they aren't going to get through now.
Yeah, no one's showing any real momentum. So as it stands, it's Billy Bolt, Dominik Olszowy, which will please the home fans big time tonight. He'll be going second in Superpole. Eddie Carlson, Johnny Walker, Ash Brightmore, Mitch Brightmore, and Cooper Abbott.
You know, it also shows that, you know, Taddy's obviously made every super pole for however many years, and just a few little mistakes can cost you, but that just shows how much this sport's evolving and where it's going, and how fast these guys are actually going these days as well.
But I think as well, Paul, you've got to say with Taddy, I mean, he could have walked away from this sport, and yet he's still prepared to come out and lay it on the line. I mean, the injuries that man has gone through.
Yeah, he's just a serious competitor.
Completely, and he's prepared, you know, to take the Stark Future bike into Super Enduro, you know, moving the sport on, perhaps. As I say, it's absolutely, you've got to give it top 100% support.
100%, yeah,
for doing that.
absolutely. And and don't forget, it's going to be so different in races. You always see some of the not as faster riders that go into Super Pole change it up in the races and just with a bit more racecraft. And obviously, Taddy's got so much of that. So
yeah, and I love the way Taddy's got a very methodical kind of riding style. Whether he'll use that on the electric bike, but what I have to mention as well is the fact that we've just seen that time practice session, and Billy Bolt was 2.1 seconds faster than anybody else. So, in terms of how this campaign is going to shape up, you have to say Billy Bolt is going to be, again, as you'd expect the man to be, but he is proving that by putting those times together there.
yeah, absolutely. He's just like he's absolutely perfect on the track everywhere he goes, and he's never afraid of taking a risk as well. So he obviously pushes himself. He's so critical of himself as well. We've seen it in the past where he's not happy with mistakes he's made. He's just come from a couple of hard enduros, and actually after a massive break of injuries, he's actually, in his words when we were having some food with him just before, Dave, he said that he's pretty much as fit as he's ever been and feels good, and all the injuries are, as much healed as they can be. So it's good to see him at that point, and the way he rides, he just knows exactly where to put that bike and what to do and when to do it.
Is that natural? Do you think that's natural talent? Do you think those, or is it, is it something that comes straight to him?
I think it's a hunger and a desire, Dave.
Yeah.
Just if I reflect on my racing, I always thought I wanted to win, and I really did, but I didn't want it, and I don't think I ever had that hunger and desire like some of the champions of the day, like your Taddy and your Billies and these guys. And it's that last little percent that I don't even think you can train. I think it has that desire's got to be in you, hasn't it?
Exactly. And it's always, I will never tire of reminding people that watching Billy Bolt, okay, he may be doing all the winning, but he is doing it in a way that really no one else can match. And it is something to witness. It is something special. It is something to say, yeah, I was there when I watched Billy Bolt absolutely decimate everybody. That doesn't mean to say it's a foregone conclusion. We just watched Taddy on the replays of the highlights from that last session. But certainly, and we saw the drama in Germany last year with Billy when he hurt his knee, and yet he still came back strong and still went on to win. So as I say, we're shaping up for what should be another super. There's never been a dull Super Enduro campaign. It's always, every time, and that's why I love this sport so much.
Yeah, it's action-packed.
Okay, so we've just been watching the riders going around. The man who was second fastest in time practice for Prestige was Dominik Olszowy. Let's get the thoughts of the Super Pole ahead of Super Pole.
Thank you very much. Dominik is getting ready for the interview. Obviously, it's a hard work out there at this track. But for you as a local man, how are you feeling after this few moments on the track spent with the very good results? The pressure is a little bit lower right now?
Well, my pressure is much higher than anybody else. So, yeah, feeling good, Like I said, we make the big improvements compared to last year. So, feeling much more comfortable, much more tacky, let's say. And, yeah, feeling good. Have a good pace, that's important. So yeah, looking to the races, and I hope the starts are gonna be good. Focusing on the starts to avoid the hails, let's say, and yeah, doing my job.
You have a very good position right now, second in this practice to determine the order at the Super Pole rivalry. But tell me a little bit more about the track, because you made it look very easy. Was it really easy for you as well?
Yeah, it's easy, but the same way we attack more, so it's more intense. We need to remember always that, when the track is easier, you attack corners much harder, and it's just the pace is higher. So we need to, remember that always. So yeah, the track is easy, but when we put the pace, what we can run, it's gonna be a difficult race, long.
Obviously, the appetite is growing always through the meeting, especially when you are doing well. So what's the focus right now? What's the goal right now? Because I'm sure you feel that you can win it today.
Well, definitely. I'm looking too, but, focusing on my things, really. we work mentally as well. So yeah, focusing on mental my goals, and I need to focus only on that to make my best what I can do.
Perfect. So now I'm going to let you rest a little bit. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a short footage right now from the arena in Gliwice, but we would like to welcome you at 6 o'clock when the main event starts. That's all from the pits at the moment, and see you in a bit.